and honor.
Hello again, welcome back to Storm Talk. Apparently it takes a minute for Rexxar to actually speak after you come into his page. So today we're going to be doing Rexxar, the champion of the Horde. You can take a moment to read his intro, we'll take a moment to look at his character.
I dislike waiting. I get the urge to wander.
As you can see, his character model's kind of blocked about halfway with his pet bear, but since his bear's part of his character model, it's kind of okay. All in all, with his character model, there doesn't seem to be anything interesting. He just kind of seems a little... I don't know, he feels like he's a little lower res than any of the other characters. I don't know if that's just... he feels that way, or if that's how it is. Maybe it's just because he's like a bigger, bulkier character, so it just kind of looks like he's a little more plain. Anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about his abilities. His trait is Misha, the bear. Yeah, pretty simple trait. His passive is he has a pet bear.
I get the urge to wander.
His Q is Spirit Swoop for 40 mana with a 7-second cooldown. His Hawk will sweep in, damage enemies in a line, slowing them. Misha Charge, 45 mana and 12-second cooldown. Misha charges a line, deals 30 damage, and stuns enemies for 1.25 seconds. His E is Mend Pet, 55 mana with 10-second cooldown. He heals Misha. Pretty simple. His two heroics are Unleash the Boars, pretty self-explanatory. 75 mana with 60 seconds. You unleash a horde of boars attacking all enemies within your range, or enemy heroes within your range.
I get the urge to wander.
They deal mediocre damage, and they'll slow people and reveal them to the map. The reveal is actually pretty good if you have a character like Nova on your team. It's actually much more useful than it sounds when you're just saying it. Bestial Wrath. Increase Misha's basic attack damage by 150%. So, let's go ahead and take a look at his skins. Here you have the Champion of the Horde skin. The first color variation, and the second. Master Rexxar with color variations.
I dislike waiting. I get the urge to wander.
And Frostlord Rexxar. I'm going to be taking out the red Frostlord Rexxar. I like the way Frostlord looks. It has that whole stone look instead of that like flesh, which just kind of looks plain. You can see there's a lot more texture work done on the stone. And as I've stated before, I love the red and black color coat. Even though it's slightly different here, you can still kind of see the bases in it. And he has some themed abilities, so we'll check those out.
I assure you, I will exceed your expectations.
Now,
I'm acting on instinct.
as you can see, your pet Misha will walk with you everywhere you go. Unlike other multi-heroes, you don't actually get to control her separately. However, your passive has two modes. You have Follow, and you have Attack. And if Misha dies, she will revive within 14 seconds.
So be it.
As for your other abilities, you have Spirit Swoop. You throw a bird at your enemies. Misha Charge, pretty self-explanatory again, and Mend Pet. Put her in attack mode real quick. So, as you can see, Mend Pet heals overtime. And let's actually see if we can just get her killed. If Misha's dead, 2 of your abilities will just turn off because they kind of need her to survive. As you can see, it looks like she's dead here on your UI, but she doesn't show up over here. Once soon as she revives back at you. Okay. So, another thing that's kind of interesting to show is with Spirit Swoop. Unlike how you would think a move like that would work, it actually goes through all enemies in a line. Just normally whenever you think of like a bird going in and attacking, you're thinking of them hitting the first guy or the first person, or just pretty much any of those attacks. You have Quinn from League of Legends. You have, Tyrande from here. Her bird, the great owl, shoots across the map, stops the moment it hits somebody, and you end up having to take a talent to get it to go through people, so you'd kind of think that. Another thing about this character, before I continue, is if you're going to try to stick in the bush, you have to be careful about Misha's placement, because just plain simple, okay, get into lane, go into the bush, there she just steps into the bush. However, if you're just gonna step into the bush, she's still right there, completely giving away your entire location.
I'm acting on instinct.
And this will kind of be important a little bit later, and we'll talk about that when we start talking about this character's playstyles. Now, you can see Misha's health, but there is no way to actually go to Misha's stat line, which is actually very sad. But you can see her health, and we'll talk about her health raising as we go through Rexxar's stats. So Rexxar starts with 75 or 750 HP with a 1.56 regeneration, 500 mana with a 3-point regeneration. He has an attack range of 4.5, an attack damage of 45, and he attacks 0.87 times per second. Misha starts off with 800 health. At level 30, Rexxar has 5,100 HP with a 10.62 regeneration, 790 mana with a 5.83 regeneration. He does 360 damage, and Misha now has 5,730 HP. At level 30, Swoop will do 438 damage. Misha's Charge will do 180 damage. And Mend Pet will heal for 2,280 damage. As you level up, the time it takes for Misha to come back also increases. The more powerful she is, the longer it takes for her to res, very similar to how your character will work. Now, before we go into talents, Misha follow. By default, Misha is on attack. When you hit Misha follow, she will get this little M icon. She's following you, she's in passive mode, but charging with her will automatically send her back to attack mode. This is covered in the hero spotlight, but Since I'm kind of doing a variation of a spotlight, I might as well go through with that as well. Now, at level 1, you have Grizzled Bear. Misha will periodically reduce the damage received from hero's basic attacks by 50%. Note that's only on Misha. And a lot of his talents kind of have this limitation where you're picking between buffing yourself or buffing Misha. Next, you have Hunter-Gatherer. Collecting regenerations will increase health regeneration for you and Misha by 1 point per second. Like, this is probably the best out of the 4 of these. However, he does have one that is pretty unique for him. Survivalist Training. Regeneration globes restore 100% more mana. This is something you would expect to see out of like a quick hitting high damage assassin like Nova, or a support or caster character. But the first time the whole get more mana out of regeneration orbs shows up is with a ranged assassin, or with just a ranged warrior. It's kind of weird. However, this is not permanent. They do have kind of like that whole Hunter's Gather, like that whole permanent mana regeneration. So I'm not talking about this one. This is just more that passive. The moment you pick it up, that first thing, boom, more mana. After that, he has Flare, which is basically just a skinned ward. He lights a torch and throws it. It's the same as a ward, or it is a ward. So Hunter-Gatherer is obviously the best answer here.
Choose a talent.
At level 4, you have Hungry Beast. Misha's attacks will heal her for 4% of her maximum health. Crippling Talons increase Spirit Swoop's slow amount to 40, and its duration to 3 seconds from 30 and 2. Take Flight, increase Spirit Swoop's range by 20%, and if it hits an enemy hero, the mana cost is refunded. That is 40 mana. Or Easy Prey. Increase Misha's damage to minions and mercenaries by 150%, and reduce the amount of damage she takes from said characters by 150%. Now, as great as the Spirit Swoop talents are here, I mean, plus 10% slow and plus 1 second of duration, or plus 20% range with the chance of a refund, those are great talents. However, you're almost always going to want to take Hungry Bear. You heal yourself for 4%. At 5,700, 4% comes out to what? What would that be? Like 220 HP? Something like that. So every hit she'd be healing like 220. And Rexxar is a pretty heavy hitting character. He only hits for 300 a pop. So she's keeping up with him basically. You drop a mend pet on her and yeah. You're keeping up with like one-on-one fights. Easy Prey is amazing on maps like Garden Terror or Grave Golem, where you're going in and you're constantly attacking mercenaries. Like all those maps that require you to be beating the shit out of mercenaries on a constant basis. Easy Prey is amazing. 150% more damage and take half as much damage. But on maps like, or maps where you're challenging people a lot, like the Curse map or Dragonshire, this ability is almost worthless. It's nice to be able to grab mercenaries from time to time, but mercenaries don't reliably win you those maps. Whereas in Grave Golem, no, 100 size Golem reliably will win you that fight. So we're gonna take Hungry Bear.
Choose a talent.
At level 7, you have Blood of the Rhino. Increase Mend Pet's duration by 5 seconds. That doubles the duration, which of course doubles the amount. Throwing axes increase your basic attack range by 25%. Aspect of the Beast. Misha's basic attacks lower the cooldown of charge by 2 seconds. It's a 12-second cooldown. She throws in... Let's assume she attacks once per second. She throws in 2 attacks, and that'll lower it by 6. She throws in 4 attacks, that's the entire thing, and that takes 4 seconds instead of 12. It's pretty good. Bird of Prey. Increase swoops damage by 300% to non-heroic enemies. This gives Spirit Swoops basically the ability to clear out an entire minion wave by itself. Notice that, yeah, Spirit Swoop will almost take out a minion wave by itself in that case, so not bad at all. However, that does give it, again, pretty limited. So unless you're on maybe like the curse map where, oh yeah, being able to take out an enemy minion wave like that is a big deal, but I prefer throwing axe here. Increased character range is amazing, always.
Choose a talent.
At level 10, we are taking Bestial Wrath. Increase Misha's basic attack damage by 150% for 12 seconds. So to show this one off, Misha gets bigger, she gets blue claws. Looks nice. And it's just a buff. Nothing really that else needs to be shown here. It's just, yeah, it's just a steroid. We don't even really have to show that off too much. No major effects. Okay, at level 13, Wildfire. Misha deals 87 damage per second to nearby enemies. Plain and simple, this is a burn effect, but it's on Misha, not you, which makes it a little harder for you to control, which makes it a little harder for me to justify taking this ability. When it's you, you get up there in the fight, that's great. When it's Misha, like, yeah, you can kind of control where Misha goes, but it's just a little bit harder to deal with the whole, like, oh yeah, don't worry, Misha's on fire, but, oh yeah, you're still alive and she dies and you don't have her for 30 seconds, so basically a waste of talent at that point. Well, actually, like, half of these are wasted talents at that point. So after that, you have the bare necessities. If Misha's charge does not hit an enemy hero, it can be cast again for free within 3 seconds. This is an interesting ability, which could actually give her the ability to charge. Basically, gives her the ability to charge twice. Which, this is more than twice, obviously, but yeah, just being able to double her normal range is kind of fun. And then Bark Skin. Misha takes 50% less damage from abilities for 5 seconds after using charge. All in all, this Rexxar comes in pretty much at about here. When you get to level 4, you'll find out how the enemy team's set up. You might even figure that out at level 1 before you take your talents. Are you going to be aggressive or defensive? Are you going to be doing a lot of damage, or are you going to need to be, a damage dealer or a tank? If you're going to be a damage dealer, then you're going to want to take stuff like damage. You're going to want to take the increased range. Probably going to want to take the Bestial Wrath. You're going to want to take, like, Thrill of the Hunt. It does massive amounts of damage, or like Thrill of the Hunt. Basic attacks increase you and Misha's speed by 25% whenever you cast a basic attack. And, like, that's just how you're going to build. You're going to build high damage. However, if you're going to be more defensive, you're going to want to take stuff like Easy Prey, because that works on minions as well. Allows you to take out some minion groups. Actually, even Hungry Bear, because of that healing. You're going to want to take Blood of the Rhino. You're going to want to take the Unleash the Boars for the slow, because you can use that to chase people down, or you could use that to help yourself get away. Here you're going to want to take something like Bark Skin, so that when you throw Misha into the fight, she'll last longer. And you'll want to take like Feign Death, which we will get to next time because it is probably one of his best abilities. And yeah, so this character has like pretty much only 2 basic builds. And that's, do you want to do damage or do you want to stay alive? And for the most part, they're pretty unique, like the way they build. Like your first ability, you take Hunter Gatherer almost every time. As you build up, do you want health or do you want damage? Do you want health? Do you want damage? Do you want damage? Do you want crowd control? Do you want damage, or here do you want speed or do you want utility? Here at level 16 we have Primal Intimidation. Enemies that basic attack you or Misha have their attack speed slowed by 40%. You have Critical Care, increases the healing of Mint and Pet by 50% when Misha is under 50%. Aspect of the Hawk, when Spirit Swoop hits an enemy hero, you gain 100% attack speed for 3 seconds and Feign Death. You fake your death and become invulnerable. For 5 seconds, you start controlling Misha. I'm going to take Primal Intimidation because it's pretty badass.
Choose a talent.
And then once you hit level 20, we have Spirit Bonds. Increases the duration of Bestial Wrath by 50%. Misha's basic attacks now also heal Rexxar for 50% of the damage dealt. At level 20, you also get Frenzy of Kalimdor. Your basic attacks deal 10% more damage, and Misha's basic attacks will slow by 20%. And Hardened Skin. You and Misha both take 75% less damage for 4 seconds. So we've been doing this for a while. We now have a full build. Let's just go ahead and put me and Misha in a fight, see what we can do.
Let's move.
So we're going to go ahead and wait for Arthas. We're going to start off with Bestial Wrath. We're going to put Misha in front of the towers, let her start taking the tanking the damage. A little bit of me and a little bit of Malfurion. We could pretty much keep her Misha alive indefinitely. Misha cannot charge through walls. And just plain simple, as you can see, once you get to this level, if you are uncontested, there's pretty much nothing anybody can do to try to stop you. A little bit of heal, like you can pretty much heal Misha by yourself against towers and buildings. It isn't even a problem. Now, to go ahead and build a little bit more freely, we're going to take Hunter-Gatherer again.
Choose a talent.
So be it.
Now this time, I would normally take Hungry Bear as well, but just to kind of show off how some of these things work, I'm going to take
Choose a talent.
I'm going to take Taking Flight. At level 7, we'll get Birds of Prey, just to kind of show how much damage it does. Again, Blood of the Rhino or Throwing Axes is probably a much better choice.
Choose a talent.
At level 10, we have Unleash the Boars. Release a herd of boars that track down all enemies in a direction. So, as you can see, the range is pretty large. So I'll wait till... So as you can see, he's revealed. We'll try to chase him back a little bit. That didn't work very well. Trying to get him to go behind the wall, but he doesn't want to. As you can see, you can kind of see him, keep track of him, allows you to attack him from behind the wall. The range is pretty long, and yeah, we'll just go ahead and reset that, and we'll start working from there. Level 13. We'll go ahead and take Wildfire because for the most part these are pretty self-explanatory. Neat utility, but pretty self-explanatory. We'll take Wildfire Bear so you can kind of see the burn, how it is on Misha and not on me. And at level 16 we'll take Feign Death. At level 20, Unleash the Boars becomes Kill Command. It deals 50% more damage and roots. So, Feign Death. You pretend to die and enter stasis, and you become Misha. Let's get Misha to take some damage. So, when you feign death, you're Misha. All you can do is charge. However, things that increase your charge obviously would increase that. You cannot heal, and pretty much you're alone at that point, but it is a fun ability. Works very similar to Ice Block and all those similar general talents, except this one allows you to control your pet, which makes it actually viable. Because with all the other ones, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Put myself in a big giant ice cube or go to sleep or whatever. Well, now the enemy has time to surround me. So unless you're literally like 2 seconds from your cooldown on your massive escape ability, it's literally worthless. But here, you go to sleep, Misha takes over, you can kind of get some aggro, you get a stun off. Because even if all you do is go to sleep, you kind of pull Misha over here, you're attacking, getting aggro, and then you charge in. By the way, there's a stun, and I'm out of here. But we now have Kill Command, so we'll just kind of show off Kill Command real quick. Do remember that Unleash the Boars will hit all enemy heroes. So the more enemy heroes there are in a fight, the more damage it will do. Now let's go ahead and show off this little set of abilities we picked up here. Now, as you can see, I'm actually even more capable of taking out the enemy hero at this point, because, well, just plain and simple, Misha has a little bit more damage. I have 2 stuns. But without with Bestial Wrath, I don't have as much regeneration. I'm relying a lot more on stuns and Misha attacking to keep myself alive, whereas with Bestial Wrath, I actually had like a little bit of survivability on my own because Misha's attacks gave me more health. Misha was doing a ton more damage. However, I also now don't have to worry about my tank switching forms. I think that's a major bug that probably needs to be hot patched. Let's go ahead and reset level so I can demonstrate that a little bit. But just for the fun of it, we'll take Flare, Easy Prey, Aspect of the Beast, and then Bestial Wrath. So, just to kind of show off what Flare can do, or what Flare is, plain and simple, it's a ward. You throw a Flare, it burns, grants vision. So, with whenever you enter Bestial Wrath, keep her alive. Well, now I look like an idiot.
Choose a talent.
Wonder if it's just the level 20 version that was doing that. Let's see, is there anything else that would that'd be fine? It's like, okay, well, Misha's charge has its cooldown reduced, we'll take less damage, and we'll take critical care.
Choose a talent.
Our paths converge.
Now, at least the way it was working a couple of minutes ago, when Misha leaves Bestial Wrath, she will often change target priority, and I guess it's not doing it here. So I have no clue why it was doing that earlier. Sometimes when, if you go back in the video, you'll actually be able to see it. When I was attacking the fort, Misha would lose the target priority of the fort, which would basically end up in a situation where Misha was she was being attacked, and then the fort would decide to attack me instead of Misha, which isn't so much a bad thing as an inconvenience. It's like, oh, well, they end up attacking me instead of her, so I'm going to start taking damage. I can't heal myself, but I can heal Misha. So, I don't know what causes that. Like I said, you can go back early on the video and see it. I wasn't able to recreate it, so it's probably just like a bug, or I missed something stupid like Misha putting her tail outside of the circle, although I don't think that's what it was. But anyway, I've been ranting for long enough, so it's actually a little sad Misha didn't dance. I was kind of hoping Misha would dance for me. Oh, there she goes. She dances for like 2 seconds and Rexxar goes off on like a full ordeal. Anyway, I'll go ahead and let you go now. I hope this was informative, and I hope you learned something. If not, I hope you enjoyed this, and have a nice day.